Well, I finally have some good news for folks, but I don't know how you're going to take it. The housing market is changing again. If you stick around, we're going to find out what's going on in the housing market nationwide and here in Las Vegas and see how you can position yourself to get the best deal possible or, as a seller, get the most money possible. In case we haven't met before, my name is Eric Hudson. I'm a real estate agent here in the lovely Las Vegas area. And all the time, folks are wondering if they can reach out to me. Yes, you can. My information is down below and the info tab. And most importantly, I have a calendar link down below. So you can get on my calendar and reserve out a bit of time to talk about whatever you need to talk about. Okay, looks like it's happening again. I was really worried for this year because it started off and there was no activity. And then all of a sudden, overnight, and I don't know what caused it. It could be the latest interest rate reduction that we're starting to see in the mortgage industry. But activity has started to pick up again. I mean, like, pick up. I mean, like this weekend, I had one house that had more showings this weekend than the past month. And the house has had normal showings in the past month. Not only that, multiple offers this weekend. Ouch. So I don't know if it was because it was a holiday weekend, Martin Luther King Day weekend, or what, especially since the weather didn't look that great. And you know, more people come out when the weather is great. This is really getting interesting because it was predicted about a third of real estate agents were going to leave the business here locally because we had our MLS dues due and they were quite a bit, like $600-700. Figured people who didn't have the money or just didn't have the inclination to continue would just drop out. Don't know what the numbers are going to be, but this may switch things around because the market has done another flip-flop. Interesting. Don't know how that happens to go from absolute zero to showings like crazy. Now, what spurred this is I'm sitting here, I'm networking with a bunch of agents from across the country, and they all saw the same thing. Matter of fact, some houses that have been listed this year have had 70 showings when the market had been dead. One person got 5 offers on their house this weekend. So now people are just excited. It's like, oh my God, it's changed all of a sudden. So, well, how does this affect you? That's what it really matters, right? If you're a buyer, you've been living in a little bit of a la-la land for the last few months because you can make offers below list, below what the house is worth, and most importantly, get a seller to pay closing costs. Guess what? When sellers get a whiff of this, those who haven't been on the market, who are waiting to get on the market, they ain't gonna take that. So you are in a short period of time that looks like right now, unless another shoe drops, because I don't care what the Biden administration says, we are in a recession. I know they are trying to redefine what a recession is, but I'm going to go by historic norms, which is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, which we've had, but it doesn't feel like a recession for some odd reason, unless you're trying to sell a house. Because we all know that the jobs reports keep coming back and they're wonderful. Inflation is starting to get under control, yet it's still too high, 6.5%. This is starting to spark some interesting stuff, and people are having some confidence in the economy. Well, great. If you're thinking about buying a house and there is still a small window that you have to buy a house and not pay $50,000 over like people did exactly 1 year ago, you may want to take that. You may want to take it while some sellers are going like, wait a minute, I had $250 in equity, now I have $200. I want to take my $200 and run. I don't want to take any chances. You may want to take advantage of that. On top of that, sellers, just about all of them right now, will pay your closing costs. Wow. It's been years since sellers paid closing costs. Right now, something like 80 to 90% are paying that. When they hear that the market is changing, do you think they're going to pay that anymore? Or do you think they're going to go, I'm going to hold off just a little just to see? You're going to get a lot of hold offs just a little just to sees instead of being able to buy a house not for 50,000 over list, but for under list and under market value, and to get someone to pay your closing cost and a whole bunch of others. I've already told the story about 3 times now, so I'm not going to tell it about the 625 to 650 house from a friend of mine. Yeah, those days are quickly closing, especially as we go into the spring market. So spring market is usually some of the busiest times of the years because families want to move because they have children. Or in the military, you got PCS season. Well, that's coming up. So will that dump more houses on the market? Or will it cause the prices to go up like it normally does for every year? It still actually kind of went up last spring season. Everything kind of topped off Aprilish, Mayish, which kind of gets you from late spring to early summer. But those folks, they made out like bandits. This year, I don't think anyone's going to make out like a bandit because I think everyone's going to be a little more cautious. But I'm pretty sure the next step is sellers are no longer going to be paying closing cost. Now, that's what your action plan is for the buyers. What is your action plan as a seller? Carefully look at the market. What is it doing right now? I know everyone's going like, oh, you need to list your house right now before another shoe drops. What if the shoe doesn't drop? I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying that it won't. But I'm saying is, what if it doesn't? What if we go into a normal spring season? Because we now actually have a normal number of houses on the market. Yeah, it's a lot more than last year and the year before and the year before. But those were abnormal markets. You put your house in the market in springtime, all of this silliness may have reversed itself. Now, you're not going to get 30, 50,000 like your neighbor did a year ago. Let's just get that out your head. Fred got his money. But what you can do is sell for market value instead of the low ballers. I'm going to be very honest. The offer we got that my seller accepted, I didn't say, you should accept this or anything. They just went like, hey, we want to be done with this. And to be honest, after everything, commissions, closing costs, the whole 9, they're walking away with almost a couple of $100,000. And that's down. This is what I'm talking about, the 250 to 200 kind of thing. And the offer, in my opinion, no, not my opinion. In reality, it was lowball. And to be honest, all offers that they received 5 offers total. And I don't want to make it sound like they got 5 offers this weekend. No. They got 2 offers this weekend. One was the lowball offer, which was actually the highest of all the lowball offers. All 5 were lowball. And one that was extreme lowball. I mean, it's like somebody just spitting in the wind. Well, you don't have to continue to put up with spitting in the wind. Because remember, a year ago, cash buyers, that's who this extreme lowball was, they were paying above list. It's probably going to be a very long time before you have these people come back into the market. When I say very long time, I'm talking about a few years because a lot of them have been burned. You can see some have gone out of business. Some are on the brink of going out of business. As a matter of fact, here in Las Vegas, a major brokerage has gone out of business here in Southern Nevada and Southern California. On top of that, we got 3 other brokerages, 3, that are about to go out of business. That's actually can be good in a way because you're going to boil everything down to the best real estate agents, and hopefully that will help you out a lot. Now, we are still in a market where you have choices as both buyers and sellers. As a seller, your choice may be to wait about 6 weeks to 2 months to list your house. And the reason being, as long as another shoe does not drop, as long as Congress passes the debt ceiling, you got so many things to think about, you'll probably get more money. Because right now, buyers are not being generous. They're being the exact opposite of last year where you just sat there, you listed your house on the market, and people came and they threw cash in your face. Well, nobody's throwing cash in your face anymore. Where we see this market going for the rest of the year is, I don't want to say that we've called it a bottom. I'd say February, March is probably going to be the bottom, and we may scoot back, or we may do like 2012 and bounce hard off the bottom. Because remember, 2012, when it bounced off the bottom, it kept going up until the craziness you saw up until about 9 months ago. So take that with a word of caution. Go ahead and look to see if you really need to sell now, how much equity you have, and if you can afford to gamble. Now, I live here in Las Vegas, and in Las Vegas, this is a gambling culture. So some people may be a little bit more cautious. I'm just saying you may want to take a look at the craps and see if it's worth it. Again, buyers, it looks like you have a limited window of about a couple of months to continue to have a good time before the sellers catch on. Sellers, those of you who have been listed for several months, you may be stuck a little bit because your houses have become stale to the market. One of the things I would suggest, if the market starts to turn around, have your real estate agent withdraw your listing and relist it so it looks fresh again. Unfortunately, on Zillow, it's going to show it from the very beginning. Can't change that unless the house has been off the market for 70 days. But in the MLS, it's going to pop up fresh. Be very careful. Don't put this stuff that got you into trouble and why your house has been on the market for months now, which is, this is what I want for the house. Sit down with your real estate professional, sit down with the lender, sit down with everybody else. Figure out where you are and where this market is. Because if you continue to play games, you'll end up like the almost 2,000 people whose houses expired at the end of last year, beginning of this year. I don't want to be in that boat, especially if all those people relist their houses, because a lot of people go like, oh, you see there are fewer houses on the market, so things are getting better. No, there are fewer houses on the market because those expired. And it made a big difference. On top of that, a whole bunch of people, because they didn't get what they wanted, they pull their houses off the market. Now, and it rebounds. It's kind of like, I saw this example the other day. It's like you buy a stock for $100 and the stock decreases by 50%. Well, you now own a $50 stock. Well, the stock increases by 50%. Do you own a $100 stock? No, you own a $75 stock. Prices have to double for you to get back to your 100. Prices are going to have to go up even higher and faster for you to recover after this little slowdown that we had. So make sure you take that into account. Also, make sure you take into account that if you need some kind of help with your real estate transaction, we are here to help. Information is down below. Info tab, calendar down below also. And if you believe you've received a little bit of value from today, I would appreciate a little subscribe, a like, and a comment. Thank you so much. And based on the day this is being taped, happy Martin Luther King Day.